Well, anybody who knows Jim Graham knows he's the life of the party. And when it comes to the city's nightlife, he represents some of the busiest and noisiest parts of town. Adams Morgan, U Street. But it's my understanding that you're not too keen on the mayor's proposal to keep those neighborhoods hopping for a few more hours every week by extending the time for alcohol sales. Why do you think extending bar hours would be a bad idea, both for your ward and for the city?
Well, there are a raft of problems with it, and they're mainly quality of life problems. There are probably some public safety issues, because I've worked hard to add police to the neighborhoods at late night. But the fact that the major issue is one that we have a very difficult time dealing with in the neighborhoods, and that's noise. That's the exit from the bars. When we have people slamming their car doors, arguing, singing, cursing, talking, cars starting, stopping, cabs coming, going. This is a very major issue for anyone who lives nearby. And what we would be doing, as best I can tell, is just extending that problem another hour. And despite the best efforts of the regulators and the police and, frankly, the council, wrestling this noise issue is a very difficult thing. And so I think we've just got to understand that that's going to be one of the byproducts.
From a public safety perspective, Chief Kathy Lanier says this would not be a problem for the police, and there were several supporters of the extension who testified in a hearing last week who said, A, only a few bars and nightclubs would take advantage of it, and B, it would help with crowd control while providing more nightlife options. How do you see that?
Well, there's a bunch of people, as we all know, who are predators, who go to the nightlife areas to rob people. And if you're intoxicated and you're not paying attention, you got an iPod, you're on your cell phone, you're an obvious victim for these types of crimes. So I think that will have another hour of life. Chief Lanier has made her judgment. I hope she's right. I think that, again, though, like with noise, it's just another hour for those activities to occur.
800-433-8850 if you'd like to join the conversation on the Politics Hour. Jim Graham, life of the party, is a member of the D.C. Council. He's our guest. He's a Democrat who represents Ward 1. Our guest analyst is Patrick Madden. He's a political reporter for WAMU 88.5. Patrick?
And just on this issue of extending the bar hours, I want to ask you about, it was a line in a Post article on this, and it said, you have this parochial view of this, and you're framing the issue as what's best for Ward 1, not citywide. Are you able to look at this not as just what's best for the bars in Adams Morgan, but what about some of the other neighborhoods out there?
Downtown places where
there are a lot of
residents.
Yeah. Well, Patrick, you know that I was there Monday night at a public hearing until 11 p.m., and we had, from each of the nightlife areas of the city, there were advisory neighborhood commissions who testified against it. The Citizens Association from Georgetown, Logan Circle, DuPont Circle, and Adams Morgan all testified against it. So it's not parochial to Ward 1 by any means. Any nightlife area in the city, the message that we're getting is that there are very serious concerns about this.
So where do you get the money to replace the $5 million? I mean, if this is taken out of social service, more social service cuts, homeless funding cuts, I mean, where is the money going to come for this if you want to take this out of
Well, number one, the money associated with the later hours is $3.2 million. And actually, I think it's less than that, because we found out at this very same hearing that about 20% of the bars who would be likely to extend their hours have voluntary agreements which restrict that extension. So you got to take, I think, 20% of the income out. I've just received a detailed message from the chief financial officer for D.C. explaining to me how they came to the $3.2 million in the first instance, but I think it's reduced down to about $2.3 million, and we've got to examine it. But it is the challenge. You're absolutely right that we've got to figure out a way to plug the budget hole, which would occur if we somehow veto this revenue coming in, whatever the amount.